is going on in Cleveland. Let me know what you guys would do. Would you keep Shedeur? In my opinion, from what I've seen, Shedeur might be the best quarterback they have on the roster. Yes, you have Flacco, and you don't need to start Shedeur right away, but
Andrew Berry just lobbed a live grenade into the Browns' depth chart. No warning, no soft rollout, just boom. And the fallout is pure Cleveland theater. Dillon Gabriel politely escorted off center stage while Shedeur Sanders stepped straight into the spotlight like the new leading man of a franchise that never met a calm week.
You know what? I think it's unfair for me to comment in I guess maybe on behalf of the industry. All I can say is this,
It couldn't turn into a cliffhanger. It's the football version of skipping the entire line at Disney World, only with cleats, swagger, and cameras tracking every blink, and the energy is wild. If you're here for the mayhem and want the next episode, the second it drops, hit subscribe now so you don't miss the follow-ups. Make no mistake, this wasn't a routine personnel tweak. Barry made a statement with exclamation points. On one side, Gabriel, steady, coachable, reliable. On the other, Shedeur.
The time that we spent with Shedeur, and what he's done throughout his college career is impressive. He's an impressive young man.
Untested at this level, but undeniably magnetic, the kind of player whose warm-ups trend before kickoff. Choosing Shedeur over Dillon isn't just a depth chart shuffle. It's the Browns embracing risk, ratings, and relevance in one audacious swing, and Cleveland did not do it quiet. In classic Browns fashion, the move arrived loud, messy, made for TV, like a season finale reveal that nobody had on their bingo card. If the NFL is a reality show, this felt like the part where the producers lean into chaos because chaos moves numbers.
He's a really good quarterback. Sometimes fit comes into play, and I'd also say this. There are four more.
And you can bet Andrew Berry noticed the calculus. Shedeur doesn't just bring an arm, he brings an audience. He's heir to a brand that sells football the way a blockbuster sells opening weekend. And that matters in a league where attention is currency, but don't confuse that for empty sizzle.
Shedeur Sanders, right? I mean, there is just so much content, so much debate, so much vitriol.
There's real logic under the spark. Shedeur's profile is high variance. He can change a building's mood in a snap, tilt a crowd, and stress a defense even before the first throw. Cleveland has tried safe and watched it drift into gray.
Over Shedeur Sanders, they have remained relevant even when they're not winning. And I really ended up liking him as a person as well, and I still do. I think they really looked at it and thought, he's going to be fine here.
Berry looks like he chose the brighter color even if it risks a glare. When was the last time the Browns played it safe at quarterback and were rewarded for their caution? Exactly. Maybe the truest thing about this town is that it does bold even when it hurts. So if you're nodding along with that, tap like and drop a comment with your prediction for Shedeur's first 3 starts. The fan base is split down the middle because that's what a real quarterback pivot does to a city.
So it really hasn't been him as much as it has been everything around him. And a lot of it is social media and regular media, but it's really not Shedeur putting himself in the eye of the storm. It's more so just all of the ancillary stuff around him.
One camp sees a savior, the first signal caller in years who might make the dog pound sound like a thunderclap again. The other camp calls it a PR move, a ratings play dressed up in a playbook, a volatile gamble that could turn Week 8 into wildfire. Both sides have a point. Shedeur isn't just a player. He's a storyline in shoulder pads, a kid who in college put up numbers behind an offensive line that sometimes looked like it was built from spare parts, absorbing hits and still throwing lasers. That's grit you can't fake. But the NFL is a harsher test, and he hasn't thrown a regular season pass yet. Meanwhile, Dillon Gabriel embodies coach speak stability. On time, on schedule, on script, he can win you meetings. Shedeur can win you moments. Berry chose the one who might move the needle, even if it means riding the wave instead of steering around it. And that means Cleveland just lit the fuse on the league's favorite subplot, the live, ongoing, every Sunday quarterback controversy. 2 talented players, 1 throne, and a million opinions refreshing timelines in real time. Every Shedeur incompletion will trend. Every touchdown will feel like prophecy fulfilled. Every Dillon practice rumor will become a referendum. It's combustible. And yes, it's compelling. Add Deion Sanders lurking in the cultural backdrop, sunglasses, sound bites, and a knack for making football feel like cinema, and you've got the most clickable team in the AFC overnight inside the locker room. Veterans will read the room in a heartbeat. Players know when a guy changes the hum around a huddle, and Shedeur brings that hum, a little looser in warm-ups, a little louder after a third down dart, A little more belief when the headset goes quiet and the crowd noise spikes. If you've ever stood field level when charisma meets competence, you know exactly why a building starts to tilt. This is culture as force multiplier, and Barry is betting it will show up on the scoreboard. Still, this is Cleveland. Nothing gets handed over without a fight. The city has a PhD in heartbreak and a minor in meteorology, and it knows how quickly a quarterback honeymoon can turn to a Monday morning autopsy. If Shedeur surges, Barry looks like a visionary who broke the loop. If he stumbles, the chorus will rise for Gabriel, steady and waiting, and the GM wears the blowback. That's the bargain when you go from gray to neon. You don't get subtle outcomes. What's fascinating is the layered strategy beneath the roar. Part of this is football, a shot at a higher ceiling now, not later. Part is market. Put the Browns back on national lips, make free agents look twice, turn primetime into a habit, not a holiday. Cleveland isn't a glitzy destination by weather or passport stamp. It becomes one by story. Shedeur gives you story, and stories move people. They move locker rooms too. Receivers run harder when the ball arrives with heat and purpose. Linemen strain longer when they can feel a building's breath gather behind them. Defenses dig deeper when a sideline churns with real belief. If Shedeur's command brings that, you'll see it in micro beats before it shows up in macro stats. Quicker huddles, cleaner checks, eyes that lift after a sack instead of drop. That's the subtle stuff that turns close games at 7-12 of the fourth. There's risk, of course. The league eats rookies for brunch, and the Browns' schedule won't pause so a young quarterback can calibrate at his leisure. The processing speed gap is real. Windows are tighter, pass rushers arrive angrier, and more on time. But here's the rub. Cleveland's already lived through every flavor of pain. What it hasn't had consistently is the kind of electricity that makes a Sunday feel inevitable instead of hopeful. If Shedeur's floor is bumpy, but his ceiling is a stadium tilting, you take that trade when you've been stuck in the middle for this long. And if you think wait your turn is the safer path, history argues otherwise. Nobody told Burrow or Herbert to sit quietly and file paperwork. This league rewards the brave, even if it punishes them on the learning curve. You don't park a Ferrari because the driveway looks narrow. You learn the angles and go. That's exactly what Barry's signaled. The learning will happen live. Coaches will control the runway. Expect early calls that build rhythm. Quick game to set the feet, defined reads to speed the eyes, RPOs to punish leverage, pocket movement to change sight lines, seams and deep overs to feed the arm when the safety spins wrong. Pair that with a downhill run element to quiet edge speed, and a tempo package to keep substitutions sticky, and you can insulate a rookie while still unleashing what makes him different. That's how you turn flash into function. And don't overlook the psychology Shedeur feeds off pressure. The bigger the lens, the cooler the eyes. Some players drink light, others drown in it. If you think he's the former, there's no perfect time, there's just time. Give him the ones that count. If you're enjoying the breakdown and want a film room episode on the Browns' likely install for Shedeur's first start, subscribe and drop film in the comments so I know to prioritize it. The Gabriel piece still matters. He's good enough to start in this league, and that forces standards. The presence of a competent alternative keeps the room honest. It also means every choice is deliberate. Nothing can be waved away as no options. That tension, managed well, creates accountability. Managed poorly, it creates noise. How Kevin Stefanski and Tommy Rees stage the week, the reps, the messaging, the leadership asks will decide whether this becomes a two-man tug of war or a one-team push. The truth most fans feel in their bones is simple. Cleveland needed a jolt. A city can only be patient for so long before it stops feeling like patience and starts feeling like resignation. Shedeur isn't a guarantee, he's a chance, and chances are the only bridges from what you are to what you want to be. If it clicks, you'll feel it well before the national shows say it. Cleaner red zone reads, 3rd and 6 converted with anticipation instead of hero ball, drives that end with 7 instead of 3 because a window got hit on time. If it doesn't, the chart will tell on him fast and the pivot back to Gabriel will be right there. That's the safety net, and it's not a bad one. In the end, Barry chose to live loud. He rejected gray outcomes for a swing at color, and in this town, that resonates. The Browns didn't draft Shedeur Sanders to hold a clipboard. They drafted him to hold a city. It might break spectacularly, but if it breaks right, it rewrites a generation of Sundays. Either way, we won't look away. And maybe that's the first sign the franchise is done living small. If you vibed with this and want every new chapter of the Shedeur era the second it hits, like the video, subscribe, and ring the bell. Drop your win-loss prediction for his first month below. Share this with the biggest Browns fan you know, and I'll see you in the next breakdown.